Welcome back, everyone, to the Mind Matters series. My name is Kuki Lago. I am your host for the Mind Matters series. I am also the founder and director of Project for Vida. Project for Vida is a fiscally sponsored 501c3 based in Luquillo. Our mission is to create an empowered and resilient community through education on sustainability and emergency preparedness. If this is your first time tuning in, the Mind Matters series is a series of, it's a variety of workshops based on mental health and wellness. Different workshops based on mental health and wellness. Also, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, all the mothers out there. Today is going to be pretty special. We're going to celebrate mothers and honor our ancestors and honor those that have transitioned during this pandemic. So today we have suicide awareness during COVID-19 with Reina Mora and Donna Quach. Reina Mora is originally from Puerto Rico and now currently resides in Los Angeles. First and foremost, she is a songwriter. Her lyrics are poetic and meaningful, drawing from her time as a homeless teen in LA to struggles with her estranged family to her relationships. Both are good and bad. She writes songs that are deeply personal, yet wholly universal. She is deeply committed to help and make this world a better place. She volunteers for UNICEF to serve the less fortunate. Puerto Ricans in Action. Yes, we've done a lot of work together with Puerto Ricans in Action, Reina and I, to raise both money and awareness for the struggles happening in Puerto Rico. And You Matter Not Alone Prevention, a suicide prevention organization that supports both teens and our vets. She is proud to be a part of SONA, where she is fighting to help songwriters' rights as a committee member. And Donna Quach is the founder of You Matter charity organization and is an activist for mental health care and prevention, veteran rehabilitation, and animal rights. Her vision with You Matter movement is to educate the community about suicide awareness and bullying prevention, mainly due to an alarming rate of our nation's epidemic, tragic deaths of celebrities to the massive school shootings. She is passionate about working together to change the culture and destigmatize mental health while allowing people to talk about their own challenges and seek help. So they're coming on right now. And then afterwards, we have another workshop. And then afterwards, we're going to have a little celebration. So stay tuned, guys. And we hope you enjoy today. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
How are you guys doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Leanne says you have a different name that you go by.
Cookie.
Got it. I just want to make sure. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you, Donna?
Good, good.
How are you, Reina?
Doing good. I'm doing good. I'm excited.
Haven't seen you in a while.
I know, it's been too long.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for doing this. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, and I'll let you guys have the floor.
Okay.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
do you want us to start singing and then Donna to talk a little bit more, or what would you like this to go?
Yeah, how do you want the format to go?
Yeah.
I mean, we could do a little talking and like a song in between or something.
Want to start off with one?
Yeah, we can start off with one. Go ahead. Oh yes, guys. Sorry if you haven't heard her new song, Dead Weight. Go to YouTube. Great song, great video. It was
It's
awesome.
also on our podcast too as well, our You Matter podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we're actually gonna perform one that we wrote for You Matter, and it's called Scream for Fun.
Okay.
I've been locked inside, living in the dark. Can't turn off my mind with the severed heart. In the waiting room, I've been here before, with an open wound, lying on the floor. If only you could see me, circling the trees, save me from the hurricane, all alone screaming for the sun, screaming, hiding in these sheets. I've been here too long, having real bad dreams. Where did I go wrong? Am I half asleep? 'Cause I can't move on. Now I'm in too deep, and the light is gone. You can see me circling the drain. You can save me from the hurricane. I don't know where to run. Screaming for the sun, screaming for the sun, for the sun. If only you could see me circling the drain, but you could save me from the hurricane. I don't know where to run when you're screaming for the sun, screaming for the sun, for the sun. Can you guys hear me? Because I heard Nicole just texted me where it sounded low. Did it sound too low for you guys?
I can't hear you very well.
Yeah, it says that we're sounding low. We'll fix technical issues and
Yeah, I just messaged you.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Low on our end. We're gonna
No, but it
we're
was
gonna
really,
fix
it was clear. It's just I thought it was my volume, but
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's clear. It's just like maybe turn the volume up or something.
something's low on our end. Okay,
Yeah.
don't worry. We're gonna fix it.
All right.
Thank
We'll be
you.
here. We got time.
So on that note, you want to talk to Donna a bit more about yeah, you can hear us. Can you hear me better now? Is that louder?
oh, yeah, you're a little bit louder. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Donna.
Yes.
Take over.
Hi, you guys. Thank you for
What's up?
having me on, and thank you for allowing me to have this platform to be able to talk about You Matter, Not Alone, suicide prevention charity organization. We started this charity, I would say, in 2018 with my 3 clinical therapists, and our hopes was to really be able to do some outreach and reach kids at the school level and also in the public community too. And the reason is due to mental health. So we were seeing a very high number of suicide, mainly with our teens. If you guys don't know, suicide is the leading cause of death. It's the 10th leading cause, and it's continuing to rise at as young as 10 years old. And right now, because we're in COVID right now, it's really doubling across the board globally. Obviously, it makes sense because, again, we're asked to be in home isolation. People are required to be together more so 24 hours a day. And so it causes more issues at home when you already don't get along with your partner, your spouse, or you just don't like being at home. So the domestic violence number has increased. And so on a weekly basis, we are seeing a high number of depression, a high number of suicide rates, suicidal ideation. And going back to our charity, our mission when we started this in 2018 was, again, to do a lot of education. We feel as though if we can educate peers, kids, faculties, teachers, you name it, anybody, they would have a better opportunity to be able to make different choices and to be able to help the ones that are needing the support. And so our charity was formed in 2018 and Reina came on board. She's been an amazing volunteer, by the way. I don't want to deter away from, but she's been so amazing in terms of our team and such asset in helping me with going to different schools. And of course, my clinical therapists came along with me. And then we have other great members, which are our volunteers who do an outstanding job. And so we've been going into the school before COVID hit and really just talking to the kids, talking to the parents, talking to the teachers about suicide awareness and mental health and how important that is. Our mission continues, and now we're trying to revamp things and do things differently accordingly and to make sure that everybody's safe. So our hope is to be able to still continue on with our mission and be able to provide education on suicide awareness and mental health. And also, if you don't know, this month, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And it's a month where, again, just really talking about the stigma behind mental health and getting help, because there's still a huge stigma behind that and not reaching out, and that asking for help is a sign of weakness, which is not. As we all know that if we need help, it's okay to ask, and it's okay to not be okay. And so we want to put that out there for this month and to make sure that our mental health needs to be a priority. Obviously, it's more important than ever now, especially with the global pandemic. And that's pretty much what our charity is about, You Matter Not Alone. And it really says it all with the name of our charity. And you can say it universal, not alone, you matter, or you matter not alone. And it still gives out the same message pretty much, and that it's okay to ask for help and that you are not alone.
And Donna, what are the resources or the places that people can turn to, any phone numbers, or if they can go to our website? Can you hear me at all?
No, I can't hear you. Can you say that again?
Donna?
Can you hear me?
Donna?
Yeah.
Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, you can. Sorry, it was the
Yes.
internet that was unstable. I apologize.
Yeah.
So,
No worries.
What resources can people turn to, especially in Puerto Rico? What phone numbers, or what can they go onto our website, and how can we help those people who are in need, who don't have the means to necessarily go to a therapist?
Right. Well, absolutely. Because I know that you guys are based out in Puerto Rico, correct, Cookie? And so the thing is, the best information that I
Yes.
can give out there in terms of information is the National Suicide Hotline, and that covers Puerto Rico too. And the number is 1-800-273-8255. And I can say that again. It's 1-800-273-8255. And anybody who is in crisis mental health, if they're suicidal, or even if they're in a violent relationship or anything, they can also call the National Suicide Hotline, and they can do the assessment. The counselors, and they're all volunteers, they're trained, and they can definitely assess things, see what the situation is, and they can call the police, or they can actually, again, send the pet team out. And this is a national hotline that you can call. The other one is the National Domestic Violence, and this also covers Puerto Rico too as well. And then the number is, let me, hold on one second. I just want to.
Can I get the suicide hotline one more time?
Yes, the suicide hotline is 1-800-273-8255. And the national domestic hotline is, let's see. Let me just look that up really quick. So the national domestic violence hotline is 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-7233. And we're seeing a lot of domestic violence. Obviously, it makes sense because we're in home isolation. And of course, if you don't get along with your partner and you're asked to be at home and be around them, there's going to be more arguments, there's going to be more problems, and potentially physical abuse that will occur. And go ahead.
Sorry, Donna. So for those women who are afraid, is there any advice you would give them?
I would say the best advice that I would give them is to find a safe place, make sure that they're safe, make sure that they have a support system, and make sure that they reach out for help. So that's safety, support system, and make sure that they reach out for help.
We actually, we had a domestic violence, she's a director of a domestic violence organization out here. They're actually out here, they have a campaign called Ser un buen vecino, which means be a good neighbor. Which means if you're a neighbor and you hear they're screaming in the next house, or you hear, which is hard because these walls are cement, but if you hear violence going on in the next house, be a good neighbor. Call them or call somebody that can help them, or go over there, or so that's I thought that was really cool that they're
absolutely. Yes. And it's so important. And in the last, I would say since February, I would say I have reached out to the domestic violence hotline with respect for my clients or somebody that I know due to domestic violence, and to seek some consultation and encourage the individual to reach out themselves. So again, domestic violence is high and suicide rate is high. Given the situation right now, obviously it's already been high with the suicide rate, but again, it's doubling right now. And it's so imperative right now, in a sense where we're all working together, making sure that we are good neighbors and good friends and good support system for these individuals, and to really ensure that, to really overcome that stigma and make sure that people are asking for help and reaching for help. And we also can do the same too, in terms of reaching out. If we know that anyone is struggling or anyone is going through a difficult time, obviously the unemployment's high. I have many of my clients who are will wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning and go down to LA downtown and stand in the line or sit in their car to get food at the food pantry. And the line it starts at 6 o'clock in the morning and it doesn't end until 3 in the afternoon. So right now, time is hard, it's challenging, it's a dark time right now for many people, and unemployment is high and it's skyrocket. So I think we also really need to do our diligence and make sure that we give the support that we can to our neighbors and our friends and our loved ones. So
do you have any questions for us, Cookie?
Yeah, actually, like what I don't know how to say it. Like, what made you wanted to like get into this like suicide awareness?
Me personally?
Yes, both of you.
Well, me personally, it struck me once my mother had passed away. I decided to go into therapy, and take care of my own mental health for the first time, because I'm Puerto Rican, as you know, and it's kind of a stigma for us because it's like, oh, that's for white people. We don't really do that.
Right.
Latino communities see it as like something that it's for rich people to do. And so I was like, I didn't want to let this grief take the best of me, because I know how it affected me when my grandfather passed. So I went into therapy, and it was such a huge help for me personally. And I met Donna through the therapist, and since then I was able to help other people because I knew how much it helped me, and I wanted to do that for other people, because grief was one of those things that you're never prepared for, especially when you don't know when somebody's going to die or when it does happen. And I knew that I could go into that dark place. I've been in those dark places where you feel like there's no hope, or you feel like you are alone and you don't have anybody to turn to. And I don't really have much family, and my family are my friends. So it was really tough, but going to therapy definitely helped. And I want to give that to others if I can.
Raina, I can't hear you that well. I don't know if it's just me or is it on your end.
Oh, you can't hear me at all?
Yeah, I can hear you, and I can hear you much better now. Sorry,
Oh,
I don't know.
I probably just need to go closer to the mic. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did you hear me about why I went into there?
Just a little bit. I just heard mumbling. If you can repeat what you said, I'm sorry. I just
Yeah, no
couldn't
worries.
hear that.
We're trying to test out this mic thing, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that, guys. Usually I just go straight to the computer, but the reason I decided to go into mental health awareness, or why I decided to help this charity in particular, is because when my mother passed, I got the help I needed by going to a therapist, and to know how much it helped me, and I wanted to give that, pay it forward, basically, for other people. And knowing how much it helped, I know I can't explain how freeing it was for me to be able to. It kind of let my grief. Sorry, I'm gonna get emotional because today's Mother's Day. It helped me take care of my grief in a better way by helping others. So yeah, sorry.
Raina, it's okay to cry, and absolutely.
No,
And you see me cry before, on our podcast. And I know Raina for a moment here, and I know what she has gone through, and losing her mom, especially today on Mother's Day too, as well. So Raina, I think you're astonishing, and I think you're such a great role model and such a great singer. On and on and on. And I worship you. I mean, I literally admire you, and look up to you very much for the things that you have fought for so hard, and really worked through emotionally to get where you're at. So she's a very strong woman. So
yeah, basically I just wanted to pay it forward, and now with You Matter, I can.
Yeah. And as I was saying, she's been such an intricate part to our You Matter Not Alone, who she is always volunteering and coming out with us to different events and so forth, and writing a song for us. But part of the reason why we started this charity is mainly because I'm already in the mental health field. So I'm a psychotherapist. Okay. I also have a military background, so I am a medical officer. Well, I'm a former medical officer. I'm a veteran now. I just got out last year. And so I was seeing a lot of mental health issues, depression, PTSD, suicide. We work a lot with our teenagers and young kids, and they were coming in year after year. And again, they were just talking about suicide. And I think it was last year, in 2018, where I'm just like, I'm done. We need to do something about this, because our kiddos were coming in and they were talking about suicide like it was just kind of like not a big deal. I think I broke up with my girlfriend or boyfriend and I just want to kill myself. And I'm like, what? And it's a very common statement. Yeah. It's how they're learning how to cope. And it's just not only that, it's just goes so hard. I might as well just take some pills and just go to sleep and not wake up. And so we have tried, my colleagues and I have tried to reach out to the schools on many levels, because there's a lot of suicide there they just don't talk about. And so we have tried to reach out many times, but we just don't ever get a response. And so we felt so that this charity was needed in order to be able to give us a platform and give us an opportunity to go into the school, to be able to, talk to the kids and really give them the education on mental health and suicide prevention. I really, really, really feel as though that mental health and suicide prevention needs to be our curriculum at all school levels. It just needs to be a law. So, and that's part of the reason why we started the charity.
I am with you. Reina. I just lost my grandmother a week ago. Not to coronavirus. She was 93 and had a massive heart attack. So I feel your pain.
Yeah.
It was a big loss for us. But I found that, giving back and doing what I do and, creating, like, it helps.
It definitely does. It helps you.
And pain also helps you create. And so, that's one of my coping mechanisms, with, and I myself have had, my run-ins with mental health problems and stuff, PTSD, anxiety. So I'm very familiar with what you guys are doing and stuff, and I appreciate it. But I do want to ask, what are some things that you can do, like if someone calls you and they're at that point, like, talking them out off the ledge, or however you say it.
Oh, well, yes, it happens frequently for us. Yeah. But yes, there are times when we do get calls and they do say that I'm done and I want to, I just want to end it all. And so the best method that we take, for me, and my colleagues too as well, is really just, again, really finding some form of leverage in order to really turn the situation up and make sure that we also leverage in with the National Suicide Hotline and get the support that they need. Now, obviously, we all know that when someone is determined and absolutely wants to kill themselves, they're going to go through with it for somehow or some way. And there's nothing that we can do. But as trained therapists, we do the best we can, and we always try to find that loophole right there, whether it's a father, a mother, a son, or anything that they have some form of relationship with, that we try to find a distraction at that point. And even just when we train with our volunteers, we train them this way too as well, is to find some kind of loophole to turn the situation so that it gives them a moment just to reflect that, okay, I really think I need to be here. And a lot of times when someone is suicidal, they don't really think for themselves. But if you use outside resources and go, if you're gone, your mother would be deeply sad. She would take on that pain. It's kind of a psychological reverse technique. But that's really sometimes the only opportunity that we can really hold on to them for that moment until cognitively we can really get them down and really give them the coping skills and talk to them and help them to become more connected with themselves and really addressing why they want to die. Many suicidal patients don't really want to die. They just have such a very deep depression, a dark side to them, that they just want to get rid of that part because it's just so debilitating and it's so painful to go on into day by day. It's almost, just imagine, mental illness is something that we can't see, but just imagine you navigating the world without arms and legs. And that's how they're feeling inside. Everything is like multiplied by 10. And to understand where they're going through, I can understand why they don't want to be here. It's challenging. Life is hard already as it is. And when you're navigating the world with mental health, it is very difficult. So you also want to connect with them and help them to understand that you understand them, and not to invalidate them, but to provide support for them and to show them understanding their pain. And at that, and then also again, yeah, and validate their point and validate, you know, the challenges, the loss that they're going through, someone special in their life, because it's also very, you know, painful to go through loss and grief. You know, a parent losing a child, I mean, you will be grieving for the rest of your life. Those parent figure and grandparents and those people in your life is something where you will grieve forever. It doesn't go away, and the pain is always there. Through time you learn to manage it. But getting back to my point is, those are things that we use leverage. We use reverse psychology manipulation to really, you know, kind of give them that, it's a guilt in a sense where, okay, if you can't think for yourself, you can, you know, you need to think about your mom. You need to think about your dad or your children, because they're going to have to bury you. And, you know, I mean, this is the pain that you're going to transfer over to them for the rest of your life. And when you give them that moment, they'll come to, a lot of times they'll calm themselves down a little bit, and that's when you can start rationalizing and help them to think about themselves. But again, it does work, but again, just remember that when anybody who wants to commit suicide and is determined to, they will do so, and there's nothing we can do about it. And it's happened to us many times, you know, in our, as therapists, as doctors, as healthcare workers, we do experience that. So,
have you found it, like, since you've been doing this, have you found it to be like a certain age group more than others?
Well, in the last, I would say in the last 5 years or so, it's been more of a trend with teenagers now, because they're using that as a coping skill, and talking about suicide as though that it's something like, you know, I'm just going to go to sleep and not wake up, or I'll just take a lot of pills, and it's becoming one of their coping skill, or I'm just going to cut myself and hope that I bleed to death. And it is true that it does help, you know, many kids who cut on themselves, it does help them to feel good because it relieves the pain. It is true. And, you know, going to sleep is going to get rid of all their problems. And we do validate that, not that we say that it's okay, but we tell them that that cannot be a healthy coping skill. And the trend is more with teens now, so far, that we're seeing. And it's as young as 10 years old now. So.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions I have right now.
I do have a question for you, Cookie. I mean,
Okay.
Tell me a little bit more about your project and why you started your project. And what is the mission that you guys try to provide for the community in Puerto Rico?
Well, I started my project is actually something I created from my experiences doing responding after an emergency, during Maria, during the earthquakes, during just living here in general, things I see. The goal is for Project for Vida is for the community, by the community. The goal is for the community to be trained and educated and sustainable enough to respond for themselves. So I don't know if you've had this conversation with Reina, but Reina knows that when an emergency happens, it is the diaspora and it is the Puerto Rican residents who respond. Mm-hmm. So
I met you, Cookie, through Nicole and Puerto Ricans in Action, and us helping boots on the ground.
Yeah. So yes, she's worked with us a lot. But yeah, that usually I don't want to talk too much about that, but usually the Puerto Rican community is responding while the government is trying to sweep something under the rug. So, you know, the goal is we want to train to train community leaders in emergency response. We want to create an emergency census. So we know if there's, you know, because there's a lot of elderly. Puerto Rico's like at least 70% elderly people. So we want a community census, so that we know who needs help, who needs assistance evacuating, who lives alone, who's disabled, you know, the people that usually other people don't get to, you know, or they can't go, and they can't go themselves to where the help is, you know. So and another thing is, you know, I did a water documentary, not a water documentary yet, but I did water research. I'm reporting and all over the island, and I seen like different models and different solutions that different towns were using, and I wanted to bring some of those here to my hometown, along with some permaculture organizations I seen that gave me some ideas to bring here, and I wanted to create something where we can include all of that, you know, and empower the community, and like there was even after Maria, I even seen in a town called Yabucoa, this community, they got tired of not having no light. So they went online and somehow and researched how to install solar power, and they installed it, and they lit up their whole community.
That's amazing.
And you know, installed it themselves, and from their house they lit up their whole little street. And you know, it's stuff like that that inspired me to do Project for Vida. And that's, you know, and of course the mental health is part of our emergency response. Mental health out here is we lack a lot of resources for mental health, and mental health is very overlooked after an emergency, because it's a lot easier to send food and send equipment and send, you know, but when it comes to mental health, it's kind of like in the back burner. You know, people don't think, like, people after Maria, they still have PTSD, and now they're going through the earthquakes, and now on top of the earthquakes, they're going through this pandemic. A lot of people are still homeless in the South, and the earthquakes are still happening, and they have no home to be safe. And you know, mental health is something that we need our mental health to get through, to survive, to start over, to you know, to how can I say, to start our lives over after an emergency. So
thank you for sharing. Is there anything on our end that we can do through Zoom? Because again, you know, there is my volunteers who are trained as mental health advocates, and there's clinical therapists like me and my 4 other colleagues, and we're obviously, we have our own private practice and so forth like that. Is there anything that we can do via Zoom to really train your community and get people online, and, you know, talking about some of the important stuff of mental health? I would say coping skills. How do you cope with PTSD? How do you cope with depression? How do you manage anxiety during COVID? Domestic violence, what are some of the signs? What is a healthy relationship versus what is a toxic one? To really be able to help them be able to distinguish, and when is the best time to get help, and what do you need to do, you know, during that phase when you are getting a help and removing yourself, you know, making sure you're safe, making sure you have a support system. So we're more than happy to do anything on Zoom to really be able to give that education and that training, just like what we do with Reina and, you know, my team, where we go into the schools and we break it down and we educate others on mental health and also on suicide prevention, and with different mental health disorders. PTSD sounds huge for you guys.
Well, actually, one of the things that we wanted to do with the Mind Matters series is like create a directory create a directory of different mental health professionals and stuff. So, you know, we want to create like a hub where people can, you know, can come and get the help they need.
Yeah, they can always
They're
reach out
different.
to,
Yeah,
they can always reach out to us, and I'll give you my email. It's just
definitely.
youmatternot@gmail.com. And on my team, as far as clinical wise, there's me, there is my other licensed therapist, and then I also have 3 interns too as well that are specializes in trauma-based, anxiety and depression and suicide, so, and child development, working with parents and children. So that's her, you know, so we all have our own specialty, and that's our expertise right there. So
But
we're more than happy to support whatever, and if we need to get on Zoom and to be able to do some education and some training for the people of Puerto Rican, we're more than happy to. That's not an issue. We do a lot with St. Jude, and we do a lot with UNICEF. So
okay. Well, definitely email me all that, and you know, we can work from there.
yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely, not a problem. You know, I mean, I can definitely just email you just an outline. From what I'm hearing, I
Yeah,
think you guys just need coping skills, survival,
yeah,
how to survive in crisis, overcoming PTSD, depression, and anxiety. And, you know, what are things that we're looking for in domestic violence, and what is a healthy relationship versus a toxic one? And when do you need to remove yourself to make sure that you're safe?
definitely,
In
definitely.
a,
I mean,
in a nutshell.
we accept all the help. We accept all the help out here. You know, we don't say no. Keep that. So, you know,
Well,
we
how
welcome it.
likely, yeah, how likely of the people in Puerto Rico, how likely are they open to getting the help? Because we can give all the help and give the
Right.
support, but when there's people who are resistant because maybe of the stigma, or maybe just, you know, in their old-fashioned ways, and they're inflexible and they don't want the help. So I guess my question for you is how open are they wanting the help, and are they willing
Uh,
to receive the help?
I'm sure that how can I explain it? If you like they say, if you build it, they will come. I'm sure
Okay.
that them actually getting up and making an appointment and going to the doctor, and the doctors here are different. Even if you make an appointment, you gotta wait all day. Like, it's totally different out here. So,
Yeah.
but I'm sure that, you know, if they're like, oh, you know, I can get help through Zoom, you know, it's a little different.
I mean, if they want,
So,
right now, we have a really low, oh wait, you know what? We can't see anybody in Puerto Rico. Sounds like. So, but the thing is, we can definitely offer crisis support. We can't offer one-on-one therapy because that's out of our jurisdiction. But
yeah,
we can definitely provide safety support. That's something that we can definitely have that ability to do, and provide the national suicide, and talk them through it, and get them, you know, the proper referrals possible.
I actually have 3 more questions for you from some guests here.
Sure.
Uh, how do you explain what a coping mechanism is to a child?
Well, the thing is, you want to use very friendly, kid-friendly, where you want to say confusing coping mechanism, like coping skill. You want to say coping skill, ways that they can cope to make them feel better.
What are the signs of someone who is thinking of taking their lives but is keeping it a secret?
I would say the most common thing is that they're giving away their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Very common. So they're sarcastic, where they'll be talking and it's like, hey Reina, you know, I mean, I think after our drink tonight, I'm just gonna drive off the road. Gosh, you know, I'm so angry right now, I can just go home and just take a gun to my head and blow my brains out.
Sarcastic
So
about suicide.
yeah, and yeah, so those are some very precursors. The ones that you can visually see are the ones that isolate a lot. the one that look depressed, look withdrawn, they're not eating, they're oversleeping or undersleeping. They're very irritable, they're very angry, they're disheveled. And the ones that are kind of like under the radars that you can detect are the ones that are giving away stuff that are valuable to them, or making, sarcastic jokes about killing themselves. Those are the ones that work under the radar, that we call it.
Okay, one more. Is treating mental health with medication overused? Do we generally undermine what we are capable of dealing with?
Yes, I think
That's
it's,
2 questions.
yes, I believe, I come from a school of medicine, and so I really have seen medicine being overused. I really feel as though it's an 80-20. 80% of the time, it's something that we can manage. It's about lifestyle changes, getting adequate sleep, eating adequately healthy, and getting adequate exercise, and making sure that you have a strong support system to really keep you healthy and grounded. The other 20% of our population do need medication because there's a chemical imbalance in their brain. And so when you have a chemical imbalance in the brain, a lot of times you're going to need medication to be able to balance that out a little bit. And those are the ones like that have bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, or major depression, where they have suicidal thoughts on a daily basis. There is a chemical imbalance right there that you actually do need medication. ADHD is something that it's genetic based, and it is a chemical imbalance too as well. But 80%, yes, of the population, there's natural vitamins that you can also get on too that's healthier for your body. Medication, it fixes one thing, but it also creates another thing, and that's something that you have to really look at in depth with that. So
But you don't think it's something that like holistic medication can help with?
yeah, there's like, yes, absolutely. There's Reiki, there's trauma yoga. Those are all holistic right there. Or herbs, vitamins, plenty of those stuff that you can do. Even meditation are considered holistic too. And those are also to be found to be very helpful for our mind. It's mind over matter. It's literally,
Right.
it's 80-20. If you can really work on changing your lifestyle, go to therapy, do things the natural way, your body is going to respond much better. There is 20% of the population that do need medication, and that's okay too as well. There's stigma behind being on medication, and there's nothing wrong with it. But there is a very high percentage in our country that turns to medication very quickly, and it's something that I'm with my clients, I'm a little bit more guarded with that. So.
Okay.
And
All
if
right,
anybody else has any more questions, they're more than can email me. And if it's something I can't respond, I'll make sure I'll check with my clinical team, and we will make sure we'll get it out there. And whatever we can do within our limits, we can definitely give that support the best that we can. Okay.
By the way, the page You Matter Not Alone the page is always highlighted on top of the video. So if you guys need to reach them, email them, just click on that.
Yep. And they can also visit our website too as well. Our website has the National Suicide Hotline, the Domestic Violence Hotline, and also COVID-19 National Hotline too as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.
Yes, absolutely.
I think you're next, Reina.
Yeah, do you want to end it on the latest single? That way?
Yes.
Yes.
We took out the because we were like, it's not working. So now you're gonna hear it.
But you look so good with a microphone.
I know, it's cooler.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, I actually can hear. Yes.
All right, let's go with Deadweight now. Go ahead and drop the bomb. Speak up now, the mic's on you. Acting like you're so sincere. You know I could read the room, know when to be found. Stay a ghost, I don't need you turning off your sound. You're dead weight, stay dead to me, 6 feet underground. Dead weight, I'm breaking free. I went all by myself, 'cause I buried you. Yeah, I buried you. People told me watch my back. You cut me, but I don't. Won't be in your body count. When I put the crown on you, you won't weigh me down. Stay a ghost, I don't need you. I will let you drown. You're dead, stay dead to me, 6 feet underground. Dead weight, I'm breaking free. I went all by myself, 'cause I buried you. Yeah, I buried you. Left, left, right, left. Don't try to harm me, I got my own army. Left, left, right, left. Don't try to harm me, I got my own army. Dead weight, stay dead to me, 6 feet underground. Dead weight, I'm breaking free. I've been all by myself, 'cause I buried you. Yeah, I buried you. You're dead weight, stay dead to me, 6 feet underground. Dead weight, I'm breaking free. I've been all by myself, 'cause I buried you. Yeah, I buried you.
Yay!
Thank you guys.
That was awesome. That was beautiful. Thank you. You really sing that with your heart. And
Yes, she always does.
Thank you.
and I feel like you know, I've been hearing your music for a couple of years now, and I feel like this song like just feel like you went another level, and yeah, I really enjoy it. So thank you, and thank you for blessing us with your music.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. And yeah.
Oh, what is it? I did you say something, Reina?
I just said thank you for having me.
Oh, yes. Yeah, same here. Cookie, I want to ask you, do you guys have a website?
I know we do not have a website yet.
Oh, okay.
We're not even a year old yet, so.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you guys are brand new.
Yeah,
okay.
We're brand new, out the box. But yeah, thank you guys for doing this. Really appreciate it. I think it was great. I love everything I heard. I love the music. So I know that our viewers did too. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And definitely email me all that information.
Yes, absolutely. I will definitely just write an outline for you, and in terms of, you know, what I think maybe Puerto Rican individuals need in terms of mental health, and anything we can do on Zoom that's within our capacity, we definitely are more than happy to help as far as education wise and mental health wise, for sure.
Obviously, I'm willing to help anything for Puerto Rico.
Yes, and actually, I would love to visit your Puerto Rico one day.
Yes,
oh, definitely. Come on.
Whenever we can travel again.
Yes, of course.
We'll go see you, Cookie.
Yes.
Yes, of course. Come see me. I'll be here. All right,
All
thank
right,
you guys.
thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, you
Bye.
guys. Bye, Reina. Bye, Iran.
Bye, Donna.
Bye.
What happened here? All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Next, we have La Licenciada Magda Arroyo from the Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico Grief Recovery Center in Atorrey. She'll be doing manejando nuestras pérdidas y la de nuestros seres queridos. But before she comes on, we have a little time. I'm gonna do a few things before she comes on. So give me a second. Before I forget, I want to send a shout out to class of 2020. We know you guys aren't able to have your graduation, but congratulations anyway. And I want to say congratulations to my niece, Caitlin, who graduated from Radford University with a bachelor's in special education. I also want to say again, happy Mother's Day to everyone. And I wanted to do something I felt was appropriate today. There's this organization called Girl Trek, and they promote healthy Black girls and Black women. And right now they have a campaign called Daughter of. I am the daughter of, which is a campaign to honor your ancestors and where you come from. So basically you say, I am who you are the daughter of, who you are the granddaughter of, who you are the great granddaughter of, and so on, till, obviously, till you know yourself. And then you say something you learn from them. You say things you learn from them. So I'm going to do that today. I am Cookie. I am the daughter of Olga. I am the granddaughter of Iris and Julia. I am the great-granddaughter of Matilde and Claudina. And what I learned from them is perseverance, how to survive, love, hustle. Definitely learned hustle from my mom. Integrity, fighting for what you love, never giving up. So many things that I learned from my the women ancestors, the women before me. So many things I learned from them. So I thought that was appropriate to do for Mother's Day. Hopefully you guys will do it too. Go check out Girl Trek. It's GIRLTREK on Facebook, and check out that campaign. I thought it was pretty cool. So after this next workshop, which is a grief counselor, we have some special guests coming. and they're gonna bless us with some bomba music. Um, Bomba music is the oldest genre. It's the oldest genre in Puerto Rico. It is the way it is a form of communications from our ancestors. It is how they communicated. It's how they were able to tell each other the news or tell each other some bochinche, and it's also, it was a form of resistance for them. But bomba to us is healing, it's culture, it's resistance, it's our ancestors, it's energy, it's love. So I'm glad that they're gonna bless us with that today after this workshop, and then we're gonna celebrate my grandmother. My grandmother was a special woman. Excuse me. So I felt like she deserves this honor. She just deserves for everybody to know who she was. She was a pioneer of her time. She got her master's degrees in special education at a time where women were staying home, and she had 5 children. My grandfather died at a young age, so she pretty much raised them by herself. She taught at a school in Rio Piedras here, special education, and she was the type of teacher that she would actually stay with the kids if they needed her. She would stay with them if they were having an issue. They never wanted her to leave, and so and that's the kind of energy that she brought to everyone. She brought light, she brought love, she brought peace, she just, everyone that has crossed her path has just felt that love, that genuine love, that no malice, so today we're going to be celebrating her, and all of the people, all of our loved ones who have departed or transitioned, however you guys say it, who have transitioned during this time, and I realized that a lot of families are going through the same things that we went through, like not being able to spend those last moments with your loved one, not being able to say goodbye, not being able to have a funeral, not being able to have a proper send-off, according to your religion or what you believe in. Like, we're all going through that right now. So today we want to honor them, and we also want to honor mothers and stuff. A lot of people, this is their first year without their mother, So after this next workshop, that's what we'll be doing. I am going to take a little intermission because we have a little time before the next workshop. So, yeah, actually, you know what? Let's do the coronavirus updates while we're here now. So as of Friday, May 7th, We have 22,156 positive coronavirus cases and 107 deaths in Puerto Rico so far from coronavirus. Am I missing anything? No, I'm not.